Didn't know if he wanted to record a video, but I gave him the cold charm, and now he's here, and I'm very happy to have you on the show. I guess let's just get right into it. What'd you think of? Oh, spoiler warnings, by the way. What did you
Yep.
think of episode 2 of Last of Us season 2?
Um, I thought it was all right. Definitely some new additions. The coming from the first season, we knew that like they were changing the story up and everything. It wasn't going to be like a shot for shot remake
Yeah,
of the game because like obviously that would be kind of fucking boring. Um, but I liked some of the additions. The pipe storyline that they kind of introduced in like the first episode came back, and they're talking about the hundreds of thousands of infected that were buried underneath the snow came
yeah,
back like pretty early payoff, obviously, because based on the game, they're obviously going to go to a different spot. So Jackson wasn't going to be a big part of this season, but it's definitely bigger than it was in the game. Um,
yeah.
I like that.
No, that's sick actually. So I do this thing where I rewatch every video, like just to make sure I didn't mess up editing. But I realized that I compare it
Mm.
to no matter what the video is, I compare it to Game of Thrones, and I'm gonna do with this video too.
Dude,
It didn't feel
you
like
know
they were
what?
just
I
a
was
part of the
thinking the
night.
same thing.
Yeah, they were just basically the Night's Watch with
The Night's
guns.
Watch, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, that's exactly what I thought about. I was like, oh my god, is this just like the future Game of Thrones spinoff? What's
Yeah.
happening here?
I mean, they're like,
Like just the way it was shot and everything, like with the
in the
the,
intro
the
scene.
infected like coming in out of the fog.
Yeah, in the intro literally is a copy and paste Game of Thrones intro with different music, and it's fungus instead of blood. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
shout out
I
to
kind of
HBO, I
like
guess.
the the fungus. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a good intro, but yes, it is very uh, closely resembles Game of Thrones. But
Yeah,
I mean, I guess HBO just knows how to do it, make it look good,
yeah. No, I mean, HBO definitely has a good touch to whatever they do, and I guess let's go into like the positives. Actually, no. Let's scratch that. Let's just get into why people would watch this show or watch this show and this video. But what would you think of Joel's demise? Do you think it was done well?
Um. So yes and no. Like, in the game, Ellie's like, "Get up, Joel." Like all of her whole thing. Like it's just heartbreaking to listen to,
Hmm.
and I just didn't really feel it in Bella Ramsey's voice. Like, don't get me wrong, it was still like devastating to see Pedro Pascal lying like that on the floor and everything, and
Right.
father figure and all that. But like that scene in particular didn't really get me. It was that actually the last scene when they're like riding back on horseback,
Yeah.
and it kind of seems like he's just like can't even function by herself. Seems like he's the I can't remember the guy's name right now, but it seems like he's like holding her on the horse,
Yeah.
and she kind of like falls down a little bit and like looks back at the body. That's like what got me. It was just like the silent like look back, and she seems devastated. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that
I
that's the part that got me.
I thought I was like, okay. I kind of feel like I don't know why, but the Last of Us game I felt a lot more emotion to. Like to your point, it just
Yeah.
feels like these like big moments, and I felt the same way in season 1 too. That it feels like these big moments are just watered down. It's like it tastes like it tastes fine, but like it doesn't have like the impact that the games had. Where like in the games in Last of Us Part 1, I was like, oh my god, I do not want to kill these doctors. Like I do not want to do this. And like in the
Mm.
show, like I feel like it's not as drastic. Like the music doesn't impact it as well. And I feel like the
That might.
thing the thing that got me is when like even you just said it. You didn't say Joel, you said Pedro Pascal lying on the floor. And it almost makes it seem like
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's too big of a star for this, you know?
Mhm.
And that's not Pedro's
Yeah,
fault,
I
but
think a part of it. Yeah, no, not at all. Like, don't get me wrong, Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal are amazing actors, but I mean, I guess to give credit where credit is due, it might just be because like I've played the games, I've like experienced it, like the source material, one might say.
Yeah.
Because I've seen like a lot of TikToks and stuff like that of like people watching the TV series first, and then like they'll see this episode and they're just like, oh my god, like this is heartbreaking. So it might just be like I'm looking at it more as like a TV show and not getting invested into it nearly as much as I did like the game, for example.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a fair point. I feel like too, like it could just be that the source material was so good, to your point, that it almost feels like nothing can really top it. Another thing too, Abby's group of people, like, what are we doing, bro? Like, they are not menacing at all. Like when when Abby's like, so what do you think we look like, Joel? I was just like thinking, a bunch of fucking bitches. That what you look like, bro. It's like, how are you guys gonna fucking I feel like now this is gonna be like a little bit of yap to where like my gripes with it, like even in the game it's super convenient where they find Joel, like exactly like like they literally go like, I need to think of a plan. I'm just gonna scan outside while you think of a plan, and then they just meet Joel. Like what are we doing here? Like, and these guys are supposed to be like, they're not supposed to be, but I feel like they should be at least more like badass like warriors, and these guys are just literally like,
well,
now go for
it. So like here's obviously they were all Fireflies before, but Joel killed them all. That's their whole their vengeance coming out. But it's like 5 years later they joined up with the WLF in Seattle, I believe it is.
Yep.
And then it's been 5 years, and she says like she's got this whole thing, like we're trained by this and that, and what did she say? She said we're trained not to kill people.
Is that her defense? Yeah,
but I'm gonna do it anyways. And it's like, you say you're trained and everything, but like it just doesn't feel like they were necessarily trained in anything.
No.
And they also don't feel like a group. Like every time they're all talking about it, it's all like, oh, Abby, I don't know if we should do this, or like, yeah, Abby, let's just get it done and over with. And it's like nobody's. So, but I feel like they were definitely a little more together.
A brief intermission. We're having some audio problems.
To it, yeah. These new like Fireflies, I like like more so like the actual lore of it, and frankly like even though like they just did this main thing by like killing off one of the main characters, arguably the main character. I mean, definitely not this season, obviously, but I just don't buy them as a villain. Right. And I like, here's my thing too. Am I like preparing for The Last of Us season 2? I almost went at it at a complete different approach, and I feel like people would be mad at this, but I would have changed kind of like the timeline of the story. I wouldn't have killed Joel till about episode 5. And I just have them train with like, I don't know how they would do it, but let us be more interested in like Abby. Let us see like their struggle like getting to Joel, and like it finally like feels like a crazy like payoff for Abby's character. Like almost like I would almost kind of compare it to like have it be like a Zuko type of beat, where he's trying so hard to get to the like the avatar, and it finally pays off. I mean, like not really a payoff, but like it's like almost have it be like the Roadrunner like in Wile E. Coyote type of situation.
Yeah, so I guess a little on that point, the game, like a lot of the stuff that we're seeing, like that we saw in episode 1, like Ellie and Joel talking and stuff like that. Ellie being mad at Joel.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't really show why Ellie was kind of mad at him before.
Right.
Because it's just not how they want to set it up right now. But even like the first episode 1, like the first part of it, you know, we see Abby and her little group, and they're burying all the dead fireflies and everything like that.
Yeah.
In the game, you don't even know like why that happened or anything. Like, not at first, anyways. You play through the game, you play as Joel for a little bit, and then you start to play as Abby, and it's just like she's here. I think she was hunting for Joel, but they don't say why. It's just like, oh, you know, like, what the fuck? You know, she was a firefly, but not too much else about it. Like, right away, you know that Joel killed her father, and that's her whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think that was like part of the appeal of the game, is like you didn't know exactly why. You just thought it was like someone trying to get revenge for the fireflies as a whole, not just because it was like her father.
Yeah, you know, and to that point too, because that is a really good point. And I feel like they wanted just to spill like the picture out, just so everyone would know what the plot's gonna be, how exactly it's gonna work. But I feel like the best things in, you know, shows and cinema now is just intriguing plots that are mysterious. Like, you think of it, I'll just go in recent memories. Like, we're both Dune 2 people. We have no idea. Like, in the start of Dune 1, I mean, it's not a spoiler, just watch Dune 1. Like it's been out for a while. Like, you have no idea why the Emperor really, like, doesn't want the Atreides, the Atreides, like, lying there. Like they think that people will rise up against them. Like, why is he teaming up with the Harkonnens? And, like, why are this weird spider dude, like, here? Like, everything's a mystery, and it's so weird, but it makes you want to pay attention to the world, you know? Right. I don't want to turn this into a Dune Glaze Fest. That's another video, because I'll definitely do that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Sign me up. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, going back to The Last of Us, it feels like The Last of Us, just off of source material too, like, you have a not very interesting villain in the Infected. I mean, they just don't have no personality. Like, it's cool, like, and I hope they get creative in how they, like, put these characters in these tough situations. But at the end of the day, that's about as far as you can go. Like, unless you have, like, a weird, like, hybrid, like, you almost make it like a Night King situation. Not to bring it back to Game of Thrones, but, you know, I had to. But, like, but maybe almost make it a leader or something. I don't know. I don't think you can make the Infected too much more interesting. But go for it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, you know, Last of Us, the first game, first season, I guess, you know, it's obviously the story of Joel and Ellie, and then the main antagonist is, like, the Infected for the most part, and then you get, like, some humans here and there,
right,
like, in their little stops. Not to say that humans aren't antagonists by any means in the first game, first season, but it feels more like the Infected are the bigger antagonist just as a whole. Well, in Last of Us Part 2, second game, the main antagonists are the humans, is Ellie, like, going down and, spoiler alert, getting revenge on Joel, or for Joel.
Right.
Like that. So, you still see the Infected, it's just that they're not as, like, big in it, not as big of a antagonist in it. It's more humans, it's more the WLF and some other factions and stuff like that, but that's a little ways down the line, and I don't think they're gonna get there quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, we got 2 more seasons of this basically, and
yeah, because they announced season 3 already.
Yeah.
Renewed for season 3.
Which, I mean, so, I kind of like how they did that. I mean, obviously it's going to do well because The Last of Us and HBO doesn't really put out bad products except for season 8. Game of Thrones had to bring it back again.
Because, you know, season 1, Last of Us was only 10 episodes long, I think.
Yeah.
9, 10. I'm thinking what we're going to see is we're going to see, like, half of Last of Us Part 2, like the game. We're only going to see, like, half that story. Then season 3 is going to be like the latter half of uh, the second game. So I'm thinking, hoping, because like obviously there isn't a Last of Us Part 3 game,
Yeah.
and they've never talked about doing a Part 3. So I don't know what they would do if they did wrap up the second game in just one season. It wouldn't make sense to me personally.
Yeah, it would feel like almost a slap in the face to the creator of The Last of Us. And like I wouldn't be mad personally if we got like a 7-7. You know? Like I just what makes me, yeah, like now going to like a positive, based on the first episode, Dina and Ellie's relationship is so much more intriguing than it is in the game. So that makes me feel really good about it. But yeah, you know, like part of me, like I'm losing a little bit of steam. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I wasn't like too thrilled with season 1. I mean, it was good, but like if I were to call it like a fantastic show, I'd lie and get a Fantastic Four page of so but yeah.
Ain't it fantastic?
Yeah. Say that again.
But yeah, so there's definitely a lot to be desired, I guess. But again, that's coming from, you know, we both played the first game.
Yeah.
I played the second game. I think they're doing a good job at like sticking to the source material enough, but also making it their own thing. So like I said, nobody wants a shot-for-shot remake of the games, because that would just be like boring. But you know, like the changes in the story, like Dina was with Joel when Abby found them instead of Tommy being with Joel. You know, like in the game, the second Last of Us, Tommy and Joel.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So they changed that to Dina, and I'm almost like I'm curious as to why, because it has to be for story purposes. My guess is it's going to be something to do with Ellie. Like maybe Ellie holds some like resentment towards Dina, and maybe that's why Dina ends up like going with her to help track down the WLF and all them.
So hear me out. Like in the second game, a bit of it's doing like detective work on like figuring out like what they're doing and all that. Like maybe Dina heard some like stuff while she was like before she was unconscious about like plans and like where like their base is or something. Maybe she took something, which might be a stretch, but yeah, go for it.
No, so she saw the WLF patch like before they knocked her out and everything. But she like kind of looked around and everything like that, and I think that was the same thing that Tommy did, or like in the game, Tommy like happened to see like a patch or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they said something, and then Tommy was the one that found out like, oh, the WLF is a group out in Seattle, and then that's where they start the journey.
Yeah, and now they're going to be following Tommy's pretty much rampage, essentially, based on the Last of Us 2.
Yeah, but like with that though, Tommy, but he's not going to know who did it, like at least until they like tell him and everything like that. So I guess I'm just curious to see as how he like gets onto the rampage, because obviously he's going on the rampage. I assume so, anyways. I mean, but like before it was like because he was there, he saw what they did to Joel, everything like that. You know, that's his brother.
Yeah.
But like
Tommy!
Now he's seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But now he's not seeing that. He's not getting that like firsthand experience with it. It's just gonna get told to him, and like that'll still piss him off, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to see how they're gonna change that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I personally got everything I wanted out of this. I mean, as far as like reviewing season 2, episode 2, and like it was a pretty big episode, obviously. Do you have anything else you want to say?
If we could talk about the infect. I just thought about some infected stuff real quick.
Yeah, let's go for it.
You said you said earlier, like the infected don't really seem that smart or anything like that. And, they are playing like a background role in this
Hmm.
game slash season. But they did talk about the what were they called? The crawlers or whatever. The one
Stalkers,
that
I
like
heard.
the stalkers. But those ones were smarter. They sounded almost human like and everything. I've heard a lot of podcasts talking about that. I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then like Ellie saw it and was like, like run at me and everything like that. And then it just kind of like dipped and like kind of lured her in and ended up biting her.
Yeah.
But obviously
Uh,
Ellie is immune to it. But I'm guessing that was just to set up more of like the Jackson infected pipeline little story arc that they had real quick.
yeah, and going into that too, I guess this is more of a gripe with episode 1. Like, if I feel like if an infected of that caliber jumped on you, and like even if you're immune, I just like tore Ellie apart, or like literally, we talking like a nibble. Like what are we doing?
So like
here?
it showed it showed like the bite on her.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing like they claim it's like smarter than the average one. Maybe, that was like it's
It was saying maybe
just
that's
trying
all
to
of
get
it.
it infected.
Yeah.
Trying to get it infected, maybe they think the infected is like, oh, they're gonna go back to their own thing kind of deal. I don't know. We don't know. We'll never definitively know why it just kind of like nibbled on her real quick, gave her a little smooch,
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I don't know if you want to talk about it right now, but the Rat King, you know about the Rat King?
The Rat King. I do
infected
not.
Rat King thing. So we can get into it, or we can wait until that inevitably happens at some point.
I mean,
it's up to you.
I'd say, hold on. So, I think we should call it right there for right now, just so we don't get too far ahead of ourselves. But we could definitely just film another video about it too. So,
right on.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good time as far as talking the show. I know The Last of Us is more your thing, and that's why I wanted you on the show. I feel like I can hold my own when it comes to the show, but I definitely wanted to like let people like know your take on it as someone who plays the games, and like feel like we have good chemistry. Thank you, but yeah, just thank you for hopping on the show.
Definitely making me want to replay the game. That's for sure.
Thank you. You could say I put you on, but anyway, that'll do it for today's video. And thanks for tuning in if you're watching. Hope you're enjoying The Last of Us, and let us know what you thought about Joel's demise. Anyway, goodbye.